This is not the intro. So here we go, we're gonna do the intro, right? Are we ready? Melinda, do you know what we're doing today?
I do.
What are we gonna do today?
We are going over the Young Guns portfolios.
Yes, and if you guys don't know what Young Guns is, it's an ongoing series where we're trying to help coach some young people under 26 years old, and they're from all over the world. So we're super excited to introduce to you the very cast of season 2 of Young Guns. And I can't think of any other gun that I'd rather have next to me than the OC heat packing. I can't think of anybody else to have next to me than the girl from Orange County, heat packing undercover officer from another, no, I don't know. I'm happy to have. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at the work. There are 7 Young Guns for this season. And what we wanna do is to determine, 1, personality. Do you have a personality? Is there personal branding? Do you say something about you? What's your unique take on work and life? Because we wanna know. Next, do you have focus? And this is really, really important. Are you going deep or are you going wide? Because at the end of the day, we only remember the people who have depth. We talked about this before, so there it is again. Next up is, what is it that you do? Are you being clear about what it is that you do? Are you a basket weaver? Are you a packaging master? Are you a branding expert? What do you do? And do you communicate that clearly? And does the body of work support that? Last but not least, of course, is the quality of the work. And on that, we have a couple little criteria. Do you nail the fundamentals of design? Do you get the principles of design correct? Are you using the right spacing, the colors to communicate what it is that you're doing? And are your mock-ups beautiful? Do you present the work well? Do you have low pixelated images or things that just don't look good or poorly lit, look amateurish? And even though you're exploring the work, are you showing us the true depth of exploration? We want to see that you take an idea and you hit it out of the park and you do everything that you can think of and more. And that's it. So we're going to be grading on those 4 categories. Let me go over them again. Personality, focus, what do you do? Is it clear? And lastly, quality. And we're going to rank those from 1 to 5, and we'll do it secretly, and we'll reveal to you the answer at the end of the show. So as you're watching, play along with us. There will be a graphic, a checklist or something, probably somewhere around there, and then you can just score yourself and see if your answers line up with ours. Okay, let's jump into it. First up is Miss Annie Yang. She says, I create witty design solutions for playful brands. So this is Annie's a creative designer currently based in New York City. Okay, so we know a little bit about her. Yeah. There's a picture of her in New York City.
And notice her face too, and her facial
She has a funny expression.
Yeah.
Okay, do you know what a creative designer is?
One and the same.
So they're a designer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know what a creative designer is. I wish it told me a little bit more. So I have no idea if she's an editor, if she works on branding, animations, I have no idea. Because that's not a term I see a lot. I'm a creative designer, okay? But she does say I create witty design solutions for playful brands. So she likes to have fun.
I'm actually really nervous that they're gonna say all my projects are a little bit sloppy and they're not really of super high quality in terms of layout and mock-ups. So I hope they don't say that.
Why don't you pick a project that jumps out? So I think there's 6 projects here that we can look at.
I like to look at the first one because it seems that is her personal branding.
Okay, and also you were saying to us, this is the most important thing for me to look at because it's the upper left corner. Don't let that be the latest thing, be that the most important thing.
That's fun.
She's living up to it.
Yeah, she is so far.
Witty, playful, okay.
Got a brand, tells us about the process.
Good mock-up.
Good mock-ups.
Clean design. I think she has the fundamentals down.
Yeah. Shows the process, that's good.
I think that had to be photographed, right?
Yeah, that's fun that she actually photographed it and uses the Legos because that shows the personality.
So I know some things about Annie already. She's a good designer, she's not afraid of color, she's not afraid of letting her personality out, and she knows a thing or two about lighting and photography. Let's pick one more project. This one, did you pick the second one for any particular reason?
I did, because in looking at her previous projects, the bag, I almost feel like, oh, I probably see all what I'm gonna see right there. So I don't feel drawn in to click on that. Business cards, neither here nor there.
So I'm curious about why you say that. When you see the bag, you've seen all that you're going to see based on that one thumbnail, to help our audience understand like why a potential art director or client looks at that and might come up with that conclusion.
I don't know what type of brand this is. No idea. So it could be a clothing brand, it could be a beauty brand. I have no clue. And so the fact that I don't have that context, I don't know what kind of brand it is. All I know is the shopping bag. So that, to me, if I knew what type of brand it was, if I had some kind of context, then I most likely would click
Can you
on
give me
it.
an example of what she could have done in this thumbnail that might communicate that to you?
Yeah, maybe photograph it in the space or the type of store that it would be in.
Okay, so some context.
Or have the products around it, whatever kind of products it is being sold.
I kind of have a sense of what it is already because of the title, but
Okay.
I just want to take that thought to the conclusion, which is if it's for a bath and beauty product, I would love to see loofah sponge or a back scrubber or lotions and oils, maybe even the ingredients that go into it. Like maybe there's lavender or whatever goes into beauty products. So you want to create it in a natural setting. So if it's for a line of adult toys, you want to see products there. A bunch of condom wrappers, maybe some lubrication, just so that you're telling the story within one image, so that people don't automatically assume, not interesting. Because there's not a lot of personality coming through from that, right? But it's interesting because the line says feed your curiosity. And there's something funny going on with the U. You see that? To feed your curiosity, there's a ligature between the U and the R. And then when you hovered over it, it was something pleasure chest. I'm like, ooh. So if it is what I think it might be, like what if it's like a bunch of sex toys? The pleasure chest, do you think? Yeah, is it safe for me to say that? So let's say it were, and it's the pleasure chest. What I would then like to do is do something more like 50 Shades of Grey, where everything is dark and mysterious and you can't see it all. So I'm really curious now. So when we show less, we become more curious, and when we turn on all the lights, it's like, oh, there's no mystery. There's no monster hiding in there.
Should we click on that one now?
Do you
since
dare?
we talked about
Let's do
it.
it.
Yes.
Sexy edition, see, do not disturb. Adult entertainment, I'm telling you.
All right.
I could smell these things a mile away. Whoa, that's an interesting logo. Your pleasure. Your pleasure chess. I don't know. This is like reading a license plate. I think. Whoa.
Sorry.
I think that's what it is. You are your. So here's another point for everybody to take note, that you should try to do as much as possible the storytelling within the visuals that you provide. It's great that she's writing copy, and I'm sure it makes a lot of sense as soon as we read it. And I'm sure whoever's watching this video is going to critique us or criticize us for not reading it. So without critiquing it too much, I like the comps. This is very professional. You look like you're a person who's been designing for some time. And I gave you extra points if you're writing the copy too. And I think it's quite clever how she's using the your and you are in a lot of the language here. So disturb, do not disturb, pleasure, chess. So she's finding interesting ways of incorporating the you are. The form itself, the you are, the lockup, it's not fully resolved for me. There's something that's funny about it. It reads a little odd. It's just sometimes you have an idea and you want to be really clever, and sometimes that just fights against you the whole time. I don't love the typeface selection here, but that's just me.
No,
There's
it's me
something,
too.
the proportion doesn't feel right. Here's how I would suggest you do this. For the thumbnail, because we're talking about it, I would change it to be very dark, like black on black, like ebony on midnight kind of thing. And then what I would do is maybe take something that, like a ribbon, and I would wrap it around the bag and kind of remove parts of it, like it's getting undressed and it's being unwrapped. And so then I'm really like, ooh, what is this thing?
So you're telling part of the story.
There's other things that you can do too, which is to make it feel really taboo. And the instant you put black bars over things, like you're hiding, what is that, the nipple campaign? Yeah, censored, if you do that. So those are things that I would suggest that you do. Okay, let's check out Annie Yang's Instagram feed. Let's check it out. Also now she's like a mix of her life, kind of like what a lot of people do.
What did she say?
She's a graphic designer and illustrator.
She
It's clear what she's saying here, and she lives in New York City.
Instead of the
There's a lot of personal stuff in here. How do you feel about the personal stuff?
We'll talk about that on another show.
Should we record one later today?
Yeah, let's do it.
No, I'm curious, really. What do you think about all this personal stuff?
As an art director looking for a designer, I wouldn't be into that.
How come?
I would if it was sporadic, so I could at least see who this person is and see what they do, but it's all her and none of the work. So if she's wanting to use this as a way to get work, then I would suggest putting way more work on here.
Okay, so the ratio of personal images to
Should be
professional
flipped.
work is way off.
Yeah.
It's 90% personal, 10% work, and maybe it needs to be 90% work and 10% personal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is a travel log, like wherever she's going, moments in her life. But I think what we want to do is to stress to young people who are trying to build a career and get known as an expert at something. You're not trying to show you're an expert at hanging out in costumes or throwing peace symbols at the camera or taking selfies or doing goofy, funny things. Unless that's really what you want to be known for, and that's okay if that's the case. What it should be really about is establishing you as a professional fill-in-the-blank, graphic designer, illustrator, those kinds of things. I'd like to see more process, more of your work, and little, if any, of you and your boyfriend hanging out. It's not that interesting to me personally. It's just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like
I'm just
photos.
debating on one last score. I'm done. Personality, focus, the what you do, and the quality.
I was feeling super nervous during listening to the critique, but also like on the edge of my seat because I was like, oh my god, please read descriptions. But I definitely agree with Chris and Melinda though about how I should be able to tell a story and process through purely images. That was something I never really thought about because I myself was like, oh, I can just add text to explain the whole project. But I forget there are people who don't want to read it, and for those people I should be able to tell the story with just pictures. And it's not wrong, it's just that might actually just be a better way to storytell.
So next we're going to be going over Monika's portfolio and Behance from Lithuania. And she is a logo and brand identity designer with a passion for drawing and illustration.
Okay, let's jump in. So to be consistent, should we click on this first?
Yeah.
Let's do that.
And most likely that's the most recent one too, if it's on Behance.
Nothing serious. So I see illustration, I see a little typography. This is nothing serious. It doesn't carry a message or deeper meaning. It's only a series of blue and yellow illustrations made to satisfy a 3M artistic urge to create a tribute to insomnia. These are fun.
Yeah.
Very graphic, I like it.
Yeah.
Very stylish. So she obviously knows how to draw.
I reckon my portfolio review will go fine. I've had my work judged every semester for over 16 years right now, so I know where I stand. I'm confident in the work that I do.
So the next thing I want to look at is probably this, because I'm seeing mostly illustration now.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on the logotypes and marks, volume 1. Ooh, that's a nice mark. The Foxy clothing brand. This is AK monogram.
They're beautiful marks.
Wow.
Beautiful marks.
I have to say this, it's not that often that I see a person who's good at design and illustration, and it seems like Monika can do it all. Dang. Who picked this girl? Oh my god. Oh, I did. All right. Let's keep going here. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful marks.
Wow. Those
Beautiful
are good.
marks and beautiful illustration.
Dang, let's pick one more.
Okay.
I feel like this is going to be tough to grade, unlike the boys.
I want to go to the first one because it seems very different from all the rest.
The oldest one.
The
Let me
oldest
see the
one.
first one.
So it looks like it's just the drawing of, which is very good.
It's gorgeous. Okay.
So as looking at this, it's nice to know that she can do that kind of drawing, but it seems weird for it to be there because I see stylized illustrations, I see beautiful marks, but then I see a drawing that doesn't have any context. There's no story about it. It's just a drawing. So I would either want all drawings, like I just want to know that's just what you do. You just draw, and you draw very realistic things, or you are an illustrator, you have this particular style, or you're a
click on
logo
this.
mark designer.
Maybe that's a bridge between the two. So now we're looking at the martial arts identity design.
So it's using one of the marks, showing the breakdown. Is it in use? Oh, it's in the corner.
Yeah.
On some mock-ups.
Capoeira. Hopefully I said that correctly. Brazilian martial arts. just because we've moved through this pretty quickly, I want to click on one of these two. Which one do you want? Which one? Left or right?
Left.
That's a form of bias because I put my pointer right there. You just picked it. You can smack me anytime you wish. Just not the face. The moneymaker.
Keep it perfect.
Okay. This is an illustration for artificial reality. Wow. She's a good illustrator.
Yeah, really good.
Dang. Ooh, this is my favorite here. This guy on the couch. I love the perspective. I love framing the subject behind things, so there's a lot of depth to it. And I just like the expression. And the other ones were really exaggerated. This one isn't so exaggerated. And I love the crazy pants he's wearing. It's a really great pattern. Do you think she's doing this for a client?
I would love to know more about the project in general, so context.
Okay, so because her work's on Behance, there's not a lot of ability for us to understand her personality. So let's look her up on Instagrizzle, as Mr. Draplin likes to refer to it as. So, wow.
I like her mark too.
Her mark?
Yeah.
Owl?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And it's memorable. That's something that I would see and I would remember it on Instagram. It's hard to remember people when you've seen so many.
Yeah. Unless you have like really cool glasses and a cap or something like that to distinguish yourself from others. She's really good at drawing. I would love to have some of these marks like on my t-shirt or on my business card. And although some of them feel familiar to me because I think, ooh, that bird with the hand. Okay. Although some of them feel familiar, like people explore these kinds of things, and I've seen foxes drawn in many ways, but it's still very difficult to do. There's some hand lettering involved, so it's a lot of illustrations and process, right? Okay, fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Okay, I think we should score her right now.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Takeaway that I learned from the critique is that I'm the only person who reads the About section on Behance. Regardless, it was really interesting to see the process of how they were reviewing the projects, and I will definitely be including more information to give more context about the work in the future.
Anastasia Valensenko. I hope I said that correctly. We shall see.
I think the piece that we like the most is Forma branding. I created it for Adobe competition, and it was only afterwards that I found out that I wasn't eligible because I was from Ukraine, but I had so much fun doing it nonetheless. It really gave me an opportunity to play around with fonts and colors in a way that client work doesn't always allow, and I really put a lot of effort into it, so I was quite proud of it when I finished.
So we have just the work, so I don't know, except by looking at it, what she does.
You don't have to read anyways.
I don't like to read.
But do you want her to read a little bit?
Just identify her, like
Okay, so let's play a game.
logo and brand designer. Or
Let's play a game. You guess what she does based on these three pieces.
brand identity.
Bingo. Let's see what it is, okay?
But
Based on 5 beautiful typefaces and drawing
create
of
a brand
students.
identity. Okay, so it is
so you're
brand
right.
identity. All right.
Forma follows function. That's funny.
That's fun. I love GIFs. If you have a GIF in your
You
portfolio,
win.
that gets my attention and I remember that.
Why is that?
I'm like a child, it's moving and it's colorful.
There's some psychology to this. Movement gets attention. Anything that moves is going to draw your eye, period. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very abstract. So there's some shapes, and then there's the word forma, and I like it.
I don't know what this is. Like, is it just a
It's product design
invite?
fair. So it must be a
Like
poster
the-
for the
yeah.
event as part of their entry. Nice mock-up. Ooh, these are nice. You know what I like about this is that she has a simple system and she's able to find different expressions of it. So when we were talking earlier about the depth of the work, it could be that she just designed the logo lockup and that's all she did. But I like that there's a whole color system as part of her brand identity, and she's using typefaces and different configurations with products. So since this is for their product design fair, it makes sense now that there are a bunch of products like a lamp, whatever else we're seeing, buildings, things of that nature, right?
Beautiful
and
mock-ups.
she's done
Wow.
badges, event badge, bags, pillows.
I love this. This project is beautiful.
I also like how she pulled out the basic forms, the building blocks, if you will, the triangle, the circle, and the square. That looks a little squished to me for some reason. Does it look squished to you?
Which one did you point out?
The center. It's not a circle.
Yeah, something looks
Something
up there.
happened. So can we see the rest of it if it's consistent? It doesn't look squished. So maybe there is a little technical issue, accidentally squishing
Yeah,
something.
something.
I'm not sure. But the circle, the yellow circle is what I'm talking
Probably
about.
because you can't use shift in the new Photoshop update.
You're not supposed to. Not that you can't. If you hold down shift, it stretches it. It does the opposite. So it's going to be many
Yeah.
years of retraining your brain.
Yeah, that might have happened.
Yeah.
Let her off the hook for that one. But overall, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
project. And the mock-ups, everything. The GIF. Get extra points for the GIF.
Here's my one critique on this is that the Museum of Contemporary Art uses something very similar with square circles and triangles, I believe, for Mocha. And I would just be mindful of that.
Another project?
Yes.
5 birds.
5 birds.
Blog? Identity. Fun, bold, adventurous.
So
Noticing
sun-
a theme.
Sun,
No.
the mountains, and the trees, right? Anastasia, my comment for you here is since you only have 3 projects to show us, I feel like I want you to stretch creatively a little bit. I feel like there's certain themes and creative tendencies that you like that feel prevalent in both projects. This simple form making,
The 3.
big typefaces, these colors. I'd like to see a little bit more range in what you do. So let's jump into the last project of 3, and let's see if there's some break away from that. Lugano is what? Trading company
in
from Kuwait. That's nice. Okay. So the L and the leaf become
Yeah.
the leaf. You did that?
Good one, Chris.
Yeah, I try. I won't be quitting my day job. Nice mock-up. I like that the colors are more vivid
Yeah.
versus the more kind of washed out, desaturated pastel colors that you seem to be using before.
The presentation's beautiful.
It is.
But I am noticing it's almost like in designing the brand identities, she has her process of how to get to an outcome. So then a lot of them are looking the same, which depending on how you look at it, it could be good, could be bad.
Yeah.
Because then I know what to expect. If I needed a brand identity and it, as an art director, if I'm looking for something specific, then I know what I'm going to get from her.
Yeah.
So I feel confident that what I would task her with, I would hopefully get something like this back.
What's interesting is this is proof in what I'm saying, of what I've said before. This could be my own bias, is that it takes 3 to identify a pattern, no more than that. And you've done 3 projects, and both Melinda and I, if I may be so bold to speak for you, see your pattern of thinking and working, and that's great because it's very consistent. So if we want more of what you've done, it's a very easy decision for us to say, let's hire her. If we want somebody who's really good with patterns, who likes to keep things bold and graphic and simple and minimal, who understands how to use shapes and certain kinds of colors in conjunction with each other, you're the person for us, Anastasia. That's very, very clear. Let's take a look at her Instagram.
Well, not
Oh,
much
snap
to
it.
look
There's
at.
only 2 posts. Okay, a cat and some posters. Okay, let's go and score Anastasia
All right.
on her personality, focus, what she does, is it clear, and the quality of her work.
Well, I'm happy that, I would be seen as this person who can do bold, minimalistic kind of design. I know that I can do more than that, even if it's not significantly different, but there's more variety that I can offer to my client. And that's what I want to change about my portfolio going forward. I want to make it in my style, but a little bit more consistent.
All right, Melinda, why don't you introduce our 4th young gizzle, young gunzer.
Maitreyee from India.
She says she's a visual designer.
Visual design. I was looking below
Illustrator.
that too.
Okay.
Down there.
Oh, so she's not consistent. Points.
Ooh.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. All right, I'll drive this time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I am definitely nervous because it is a different thing when someone is just looking at your portfolio and when someone is critiquing it.
She's got a bit more work than the previous portfolios we've looked at. I am intrigued by this bird. I'm just gonna click on it. It's beautiful graphic form and it's an animals and birds geometric logo.
See, it's more of illustrations, not logos.
Well, how do you separate an illustration from a logo? I'm curious.
If these were logos, they would use a lot less color. They'd work in black.
Do you think these would not work in black?
There would have to be modifications. Like, would you not, in this one in particular, the eye you'd have to knock out.
But the ears would give it away. I think most of these, I can see them, because I'm looking at the silhouette.
Yeah, the silhouette
so the silhouette's
could work.
read, so it'll be okay.
But how it is presented, too, it looks like it's just illustrations. Not that.
I guess one person's illustration is another person's iconic logo. Could be.
But
some of them are a little complicated. Like say this one,
too.
the parrot.
Yeah.
You probably have a harder time figuring out what the heck that is.
I wish there was context with that one. How do you pronounce that?
I don't know.
Okay.
It's probably do UX design. No, just kidding. We're a little silly here.
Oh
okay, let's keep going.
Belgian chocolate.
Yes.
A GIF. Yay, another GIF. What? I would be attracted to that if, as an art director.
Bonus points. These are beautiful.
Yeah.
These are really nice. I like the color systems that she's got. They're unusual color combinations, and having the illustration and the graphics integrated together, I think make it really smart. There's a sense of luxury or a high-end product because of that, and there's really interesting patterns she's introducing too that is bringing those two worlds together. What I don't love, sorry to say, is the logo type. I'm not in love with the dough.
It feels completely different than the rest of the feel of the brand. It says premium Belgian chocolate, and that typeface and the treatment to it does not feel that way.
What does it
whatsoever. Feels like I've seen in like a poster, like a concert poster. That's the feeling I get from it, but it doesn't feel premium.
Yes. There's a couple of problems I'm having with it. One is on a formal level, in that using an outline typeface and then adding a drop shadow really kind of messes around with the way I read it. I'm seeing from the 4 or 5 foot range that the shadow is more prominent than the letter forms themselves, and it makes it really hard to read. So that's the formal critique there. Now there's two things that you can do. If you want to do something that's premium Belgian chocolate, you can do something that feels premium by going with type, or you can go against type, meaning you can pick a bold, three-dimensional masculine typeface. But I think in this one example, this one iteration, I think you would have been much better served by choosing something that was going with type. So you should probably pick a serif typeface. You might even do a formal script or something else. It just doesn't feel like those things are coming together. Otherwise, I think everything else is sublime. It's beautiful, I love it. Just, how could you do it to the do? It's French, so maybe it means dough. It means soft and sweet. So then it means soft and sweet, yet this is hard and rigid.
Yeah.
So
yeah. When you mentioned hand letter too, definitely I could see
something there.
hand letter.
Yeah, something hand letter would be beautiful. Okay. But I can see that as a high-end cosmetic product, but just happens to be for chocolate. If you were to change the typeface. Let's pick one more piece. Yeah, anything you want.
Well, it was interesting that she had the animal logo, so I kind of want to see her logos and marks.
Mr. Coco, that's nice. That's a really strong mark in my opinion. Mr. Coco. Has a little whimsy to it. Maybe the balance is a little bit off. Mr. Coco, I think probably a little bit smaller. Feels a little heavy.
The underline
you don't like the underline?
I don't know, I'd have to see
It probably doesn't need it. Do you know why? Do you know why you need to use the underline or why you don't? Why do people use underlines?
To anchor things?
To anchor and to separate.
When there's nothing to separate.
Nor anchor.
Nor anchor.
So it's not necessary.
Right.
The other thing you need to be paying attention to is the thickness of the line. So let's go to Mr. Coco. It feels a little thin, a little dainty for how chunky and round this logo feels. So it's very sharp. So again, it needs to be resolved. And I bet if she shrank Mr. Coco so that it's between the S and the 8, about that size, it'll feel really balanced. Because right now it's creating this kind of strange triangular shape, but if you brought it in, it would feel a little bit more complete, like a circle.
And maybe that's what she felt too.
But she didn't know how to resolve it.
Yeah, so she put an underline. But there's some really good work in all this. It's mixed. It's a mixed bag in the logo.
So what should she do?
Take out all of the ones that are questionable.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things you told me too. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you had told me first or second call that we had, and you said, "Is there any work in your portfolio that does not speak to the quality that you put out consistently?" And I said, "Yeah." So then you said, well, then take it out. Why is it still there? So that's the advice that I would give.
Really ask yourself this question. How many pieces do you need to show somebody to make them feel like you're good enough at doing that thing? So in a case like this, when you have so many logos, you've gone overboard. Just go back and take out a few.
So she says she's a visual designer and illustrator. Shows a lot of the work. That's awesome.
A little process too, right?
Yeah.
Showing different iterations of it. Yeah. And some things that are not fully formed, just ideas, sketches, practice.
Fun. Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we're grading personality.
The key takeaway that I'll definitely follow is that I'll spend more time on brand researching and designing before finalizing anything.
Okay, next up we have, unlike the other portfolios, we have Rhea presenting herself as a company. So it's the creative kind. Let's get into it. So I believe this is the first standalone website, is it? The other one was an Adobe portfolio, which looks like a standalone website until it tells you this is an Adobe portfolio at the bottom. So it's like website design. So this is what Rhea does. Website design. Oh, look, she has different categories. Website design, identity design, and more.
Honestly, I'm kind of nervous about typos. I know that may sound like a weird anxiety to have, but I'm dyslexic, like extremely dyslexic. So I tend to have a really hard time editing my own work.
Okay, so I will pick whichever one catches them. I'll just start with this. The Elaine Grenier, Natural Ceramics and Sculpture. She did the website design for this person.
Did it say it up there? It did?
Website design.
That's nice that it's very clear what she did on this project. Especially if they've worked on these projects with a team.
Yeah.
To give credit and to show exactly what it is or to say what it is that they've done.
It helps.
Yeah.
Because it gives us a lens into how to look at the work.
Yeah, so it's very clear.
So here's one thing I would suggest right off the bat. I'm old. Take that into consideration, young guns, that your typeface, your point size is very small, and I can read it, but it's making me work too hard to read it, so I'm not gonna read it. And using all caps makes it a little harder to read, and making it a condensed all caps typeface also harder to read. The column width in text is really wide, relatively speaking. It goes beyond the recommended however many words that are supposed to be on a line, or how many letters, I should say, okay? The assignment, so she's giving us a lot of information here, tools that so lots of good information here, probably good for search engine optimization, and just if somebody really is in love with this, they're gonna sit here and look at it. But now we're gonna get to the work, the final product. Interesting. So it's hard to tell if this is a good website or not.
Yeah.
Because for the most part, she's just showing it inside a device and an image. I'm not getting a whole lot there. So what I see I like, I'm not getting a lot of what it is that I need to see to figure out if this is a person I would want to hire. So let's go back.
So what did she say what it is? Identity design, logo design for Harmonia Interactive Sound Healing. I like the visuals of the process because with the previous one, it just had the bullet points of the process. There was no visuals. It's nice to see the visuals, and that might have helped that project overall because we don't know if it was a good website or not. It feels like it needs to be cleaned up, like it's not done.
I think they did it on purpose.
But it doesn't.
It's like there's little schmutzy things in here. I think you're saying either go all the way or not.
Right, yeah,
You
yeah, it
cut
feels.
no person's
yeah,
hand. Yes. Like it wants to be hand done.
Yeah.
Right. You're the first person who's really presenting yourself as a company, and you're being very smart about it, Rhea, and that you've included testimonials, a very thorough process, and a description of the entire process, right? So it's actually really nice for onboarding prospective clients. Putting my client hat on, I'm just kidding. I get the sense of who you are, how you do your work, and your entire process. So good job on that front. I think there are some little design choices that we can do to kind of sharpen this out, but overall, good presentation. Pick one.
Okay, packaging.
Package. Little typo there, packaging. Okay. I give ESL people like myself a little bit more leeway. But if you're a native speaker, let's use the old spell check.
So this, I feel like her categories could be changed or not separated like they are. I'm a little confused with that because this could go under an identity system. Okay, are we just scoring? Are we done?
You can do anything you want.
Are you don't need any more?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm good.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay. I've already written my answers. I can't copy you now.
Okay.
I don't want to influence you. But you don't have already done, so you can't influence me.
I care much more about learning from this experience than winning. It's kind of like, how do you measure intelligence? You know what I mean? Like, sure, some designers are better than others, but at the same time, like, it depends on what you need a designer for in the first place. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Next up, we have Retrograde Studio, another standalone website from Meghan Krieger, and she's self-described as a world traveler and a work in progress. Let's take a look at her work.
I am a little bit nervous because I switched from a WordPress website to a Squarespace website, like in the middle of the portfolio review time. So I'm hoping that everything worked out with my template. I chose a template where the links for the case studies are the images themselves. And I tested it with a few of my friends and they were able to figure out what to click, but I'm really hoping that Chris and Melinda will figure out how to actually view the case studies.
So you can't, this is one of those card sites you can't scroll. Okay, so package, whoa, okay, a little rollover action. Package design?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, now you can scroll with this parallax thing. And am I supposed to go to the side?
Maybe all the way down.
I tried.
And then click on something else. Maybe that's all
Oh, it's one
that she
dot,
has.
it's a one dotter.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all she has. Illustration, let's look at this. Oh, okay, this has more. Okay, illustration. I guess some of these young gals have multiple skill sets. Illustration and design. Okay, we're gonna be able to move through a portfolio pretty quickly, as I can see. Jawcast? Well, okay. That's great. Is this a contact form? About me. Okay.
Wow,
That's Megan's work.
Yeah, not
okay. Not a lot there. Let's look at her Instagram. A lot of illustration plants. This feels like a very curated collection of images.
Yeah. Looked like she
A lot of
switched
botanicals.
up at the
Yeah,
top.
pretty much, right? As soon as she got in the feature, she's like, meh. I'm just kidding, I have no idea.
I like those drawings though.
She can draw.
Yeah.
Homegirl can draw. Nice. And paint. Okay. Well,
That was quick.
okay, here's my overall summary of Megan's work. Megan, not enough work on your site, but that's to be expected since you are a young gun. But so far, I think it's the most shallow portfolio that we've seen. There's only a couple of pieces, and there's a lot of things that you can do to maximize the work you've already done. Is to change angles, show patterns, try to extend the designs that you make. Okay, she's originally from Nashville, Tennessee. It says it right there. I can read. How do we get back to her work? I'm a little confused by this interface.
Oh,
Info?
I don't.
No. What?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you have to click on the name. Okay,
That's
so
confusing.
your package design, you could probably make more out of this, spin it. I like the simplicity of your design. It's probably missing a little something that, I don't know, the je ne sais quoi to kind of really make it pop. Maybe it's a gold foil or it's an interesting color or a unfinished raw edge to the label. We need something else there, otherwise it feels like it was photocopied and printed on this paper and that was it. So I'm missing something there.
And the whole story too, just
There's not a lot to
taking
figure
that,
out.
yeah, and build out the whole entire line, the context in the store, on the shelf, all of that. So from the brand identity, maybe showing the process. So there's a lot that she could explore with this project.
I'm scoring.
Okay. All right, you're fast, man.
Yeah, so they didn't click on the images. Definitely a lesson in user interface, and people need to know how to operate your website. But yeah, no big deal, just my one chance to have my portfolio reviewed by Do and Melinda. You win some and you lose some. I will definitely show up for the package design challenge, and now nobody knows what to expect. So that was hard to watch, really hard to watch.
Last but not least, take us home, Melinda.
The toast box?
The toast box from Tosin,
Tosin.
who lives in Toronto but is originally from Nigeria.
I'm 100% nervous because I feel like, again, Chris has so much experience. I know my work isn't going to be like mind-blowing to him. Okay, this is another expectation. I expect some hard truths, and yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty nervous. I'm pretty nervous because I really look up to Chris. So I value his opinion. So him giving input on my work it's nerve-wracking, okay? But I'm excited still.
So it just says portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
There could be something there. What you do.
I think she's still a student.
Okay,
So
so
this
even
is a
graphic
student,
designer.
yeah.
Just to let me know, because
Or
there's
you
a
can
lot
say
of
you're a student.
illustrators. Or
You could say that
student.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so pick the first one. Do you want me to?
Your finger's on the pad.
Oh, mixed media campaign.
John Howard Society.
Do you have to read me?
Why rent an ex-con? Okay, interesting. This is like a PSA. So we
Instagram
swipe
ad.
left.
I would like to see those in context. So showing it on Instagram. Because then right away I could know that it's an Instagram ad and you wouldn't even have to say it.
Oh,
Because then now I have to read, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
very big.
Yeah, so you're getting old too.
Old and
Don't make
lazy.
us work so hard.
Old and lazy.
Just maybe lazy, not old. You're still young.
So there's Instagram ads. Looks like they're... So all of them are.
Okay, this probably is one of those assignments in class where you take a brief on how to give an ex-con a second chance. And so she's experimenting with ad copy, and the copy is okay. I'm not sure the concept is fully there because it's relying a lot on the copy, and the copy is not convincing me just yet.
Oh, here's the context.
Yeah,
I'd flip it. Put the context first.
put the context
So I
first,
don't have to work for it.
and then put it in on an iPhone.
There's a
And put it
weird...
in, there's a weird edge framing thing.
So mock-ups for this one.
Why are they viewing this one? Okay, moving on.
And to quickly understand what this project is about, it would be nice to, instead of naming it who the client is, so I don't know necessarily who that client is, to put an outcome or aid ex-convicts in rehabilitation ad campaign or something so that I could quickly know what it is because I wouldn't know who that client is. The Designs Lookbook mini magazine.
That's a nice mock-up.
Yeah, that's a nice mock-up. I'm not a fan of just the images put on the website like that. It needs to be, for me, in context.
That's a nice ad. Now it's probably too big for us to see, so maybe put it in the mock-up and scale it down. Nice photography.
It'd also be nice if, and maybe this was in the paragraph at the top, but to know if she did do the photography.
Like
And
if she
if-
art directed it?
Yeah, and if there were other people involved, then who were they?
So I think if you took these pages from the lookbook and you put them in context, like the pages were turning, different angles, a repetition laid out on a grid of some sort, you can take a design and make it, whoa, wow, right? You can really push it. And I think those are some of the presentation skills we're going to be focusing on this season of the Young Guns too.
And then last project, a logo compilation. There's a lot going on. It would be nice to just have one logo on the screen at a time as I'm scrolling. Because looking at Bloom next to the other colors, that green is fighting with the lavender and the pink that way too much for me.
I would agree with you in the logo grid. If the logo grid were simple icons, I could see it working just fine. But these are complicated combination marks with word marks, with symbols, all kinds of stuff. And it's a lot, especially because they're not all presented in black, white, or gray. That the colors and the scale, each one has a different size, like jelly or Jaylee, I don't know how you say that, compared to say Salisha. Just the visual weight that they occupy on the screen is a lot. Now, getting deeper, if I were to expand upon these, I think we have too many logos. We need to spend more time finding a good solution for each one of these problems. As I'm seeing here, you have over 15 or 16 logos here, which is a lot. But I'm not sure any of them jump out at me saying, oh, I'd like to hire you to help me design that thing. This very well could come from the kind of clients that you're working with, pushing you in a specific direction, but I would encourage you to find that more neutral Swiss modern aesthetic that is more broadly applicable to many, many different brands and which you'll get paid a lot more money to make. So we're talking about basic design principles, using simple shapes, using classic typefaces, and not trying to be overly expressive with your mark. If you believe Sagi Haviv, really a logo is just an identifier. It's not the communication, it's just the punctuation. And some of these things yell at me like, whoa, look at me, I'm so important. And you can see that when it's put into the context of advertising lookbooks, it's hard to focus on the photography when you're looking at the logo. And then now the logo is just too important. And especially for some of these brands that are fashion or beauty oriented, just be very mindful this stuff doesn't age well. Okay, let's check out her Instagram.
So she also has a separate Instagram for her work. So her and the last two have separate Instagrams for their business and their personal.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts for that?
It's a lot to manage.
It is.
It is a lot, especially if you're going to school, trying to work with clients.
Yeah.
And I know why, because people feel like they have to express themselves in a personal way and show their lives to their friends and family. And something that we want to talk about a little bit is when you're using social media, there is a place and a time for you to be self-expressive, just express yourself, right? And there's a time for you to start to build an audience around the things that you want to be known for. And if you can't dedicate equal amounts of time to your personal and your professional social feed, I would strongly encourage you to think about your future employability or your ability to attract clients. And therefore, I would suggest just focus on the business account, the thing that's going to put bread on the table and bread in your pocket. Fantastic.
I'm just gonna be honest. I wish I could be the best, but I have stalked the girls on this season of Young Guns. And no, I do not think I'm gonna be the best. I've seen people's work that are gonna be on the show this season, and
now we have the hard job of deliberating and to determine who is going to win episode 2. See, I'm like the Matrix. It's like real-time speed mapping. Okay, in summary, you guys, thanks for making it to the end of the episode. The moment of truth is here. I hope you guys had an opportunity to score everybody's work. If you haven't, might I suggest you do that right now. Hit pause, rewind, watch it, score it, flip it, smack it, and then tell us if it's the same as what we wrote down, okay? Now, I don't think we influenced each other because I wasn't looking at your scores. And I definitely know you weren't looking at mine because I was writing them the whole time. And so then it was surprising to me that we scored both first and second place in that order, in the same way, and even who we thought kind of came in on the tail end. Did that surprise you?
It did.
Why? Don't say it like that with your teeth all like it did. Like, I don't see myself agreeing with you at all.
I thought we would value different things.
Well, so here's the interesting thing. When we came up with our criteria together as to how we're going to look at the work, it must have been for this moment in time when two worlds collide. So you guys, if you're able to have some kind of objective criteria to describe work or goals, there's a good chance that you're going to arrive there even if you work independently from one another. Interesting. So without further ado, coming up as our first runner-up,
Monika from Lithuania.
Woo, Monika from Lithuania! I don't know where Lithuania is, but I imagine it to be cold there because it's cold here and we're in sunny Southern California. So good job. Why did you pick her as your first runner-up?
I picked her first. The logo that she has does show some personality to me. So her own personal logo that she's using.
The owl.
The owl. The style of illustration to me also speaks to a personality too. The quality of the work is really good. The presentation, all the logos were stellar. They're so good. The process that she shows, especially on her Instagram, of the thinking behind everything, the presentation of the marks.
What can she do to improve? So here we're looking at her Behance portfolio. What can she do to improve today? What can she do?
Take off that first project of the drawing.
The cow, the skull, or the ox, or the cow, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Take that out. What else can she do?
I would also, if you're saying that you're a logo and brand identity designer, I would put more brand identity projects on there too. So there's one that's built out. There's a lot of logos and marks, but there's no other, besides that one that's on there of an identity project, there's no more.
I suspect that she doesn't really honestly believe that she's a brand designer, but I think she put that in there because a lot of people are searching for that when they're really looking for somebody who creates great marks, and you do that really well. So your icons are top notch. I love the way that you draw them. They're really balanced and beautiful. You presented them to us in black and white, which I know then works. And you've created some identity design, and you haven't done a ton of branding, but that's okay. What's really unique about your portfolio too is your illustration. I'd like to see those two worlds come together a little bit more to find that bridge so that people can hire you for one job and not two different jobs, okay? The 3 examples that you've included for illustration are excellent, top notch. Those are beautiful. I would encourage you to do that, but maybe use those as illustrations to tell a message. Maybe there's an editorial layout or a cover of a magazine that you can do this for. Maybe they can become a backdrop or a pattern for some really interesting packaging. So you have those skills. Your challenge, should you choose to accept this, Monika, is to try to bring those things together because it'll make you better than a designer. It'll make you better than an illustrator because they live together. Be that hybrid, okay? Fantastic. Good job. I don't love the thumbnails for the logotypes marks 1 and 2. I think those should be designed much simpler, maybe just more symmetrical and just be a little quieter so I can dive into the work, okay? That's it for you. And so now you guys are all probably wondering and dying to know, who did we pick for the winner of Season 2, Episode 2? Who's the winner? Chicken dinner?
Annie Yang.
Woo! Wow, Annie, let's review your work. Let's take a look at one more time. Why did we pick Annie?
She's branded. That was one. Personality. I can see her personality even in that photo that she's using, and it lines up with the copy. So immediately I get who she is. So personality was a big thing. And then when we go down to the work, it was beautiful quality, her mock-ups, her presentation, her own identity.
And you know
her
how hard it
website.
is to do your own identity system?
I do.
That's probably the hardest thing to do, and it seems like you had a lot of fun doing it, and it's dripping with who you are, your ethos, your sensibility, and all that stuff. I like it. And I also like that you're not afraid to use hand-drawn typefaces for things that are a little wacky, a little off-center, and I think that makes it really memorable. I think moving forward, I would like for you to try to introduce this into like more corporate brands. I know that you're billed as a witty designer working on playful brands, but what if there were other brands, and what's the level of sophistication that you can bring to this playfulness? I want to see what the edges are to kind of push into that a little bit. Okay?
Yeah.
What else?
Focusing, or her focus, so it's pretty clear what she does, the brand identity, and especially once we actually dug into the projects and looked through all of them, we could see that.
Yeah. And super beautiful comps, mock-ups, packaging, lighting, whatever you did, whether they're borrowed, stolen, original, I don't care. They just look good. And you want to make things look good because the person who's looking at you, whether they're a client or an art director, they want their projects to look as good. They want that same TLC that you put into it, and that's why your mock-ups matter. Now, you'll be surprised, as we looked at many portfolios that have a bunch of pieces, it doesn't really take that much to convince us. But the opposite is true. If you litter your site with a lot of stuff that isn't top-notch, 100% what you believe is the best work that you do, you're gonna send the wrong signal, and you don't want to do that. Please don't do that. Now, what you don't know about Annie is you haven't seen her audition tape, and she is full of personality, like in every which way. It's like, we cannot let this girl go, because we got to have her on our show, and I didn't even see her work. This is the first time I've seen her work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where her on-camera personality is mirrored with her work, and I love that, because that means she knows who she is, and she's not going to run away from it. Maybe it's because she's from New York.
Could be.
You know, you gotta be tough to be in New York. You gotta be street smart. You gotta know who you are. Otherwise, people are gonna walk all over you. They say you grow up faster in the city.
I'm just so shocked. I think if the camera wasn't in front of me, I'd be like, my jaw would just have dropped the entire 3 minutes. But, you know, it's great. I think this also gave me a boost of confidence, which I lack a lot of. I'm really critical on my own work, so this kind of, you know, makes me, this made me realize that I'm not as bad as I thought I was, or at least the quality of work that I produce is considered good, or pretty good. So I'm proud of myself. Good job. It's crazy hearing from someone that they know, they can see who I am from my portfolio, because honestly, I struggle so much with my identity in terms of like being a designer. Like, I don't know where I really fit in, because I feel like I can work on many different kinds of projects and still do pretty good work. But I don't know, I guess maybe I've just been in denial for like forever, and I never wanted to really brand myself as one thing, because I didn't want to restrict myself, and I think that might be something that a lot of designers struggle with. So it's nice to hear that, you know, other people see that in me, and it kind of makes me feel a bit more, you know, comforted, to know that people can see that. But yeah, I'm honored. I really am honored to have won this portfolio challenge, and I really hope that I don't let Chris or Melinda down, because they really gave me a lot of really good advice during the review, and I would love to apply all that knowledge that I gained from them to make my portfolio even better than what it is now. I think that's it.
That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for making it to the end. I hope you're going to continue to support us and these young women known as Young Guns too, by watching, commenting, liking, subscribing, and doing a kickflip or something like that. See you guys next time on episode 3. See ya. Thank you very much, Melinda. Thank you for doing